Welcome back to the ASUS ROG. Which camera? I've got so many to choose from. This one, you like this one here?
Go middle.
Cameraman is like,
Go mid. Like, it was relevant to the last game.
I have my own camera though, look. I do.
Yeah, but
that's my camera.
No, it's our camera.
Get on my camera, Pyrian.
This is the hair camera.
All right, either way, welcome back, Mr. Cameraman, to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague kickoff season. We're going into the post-game analysis of the match that just finished, Alliance and Fnatic, and then we're going to be moving into our final game of today, which is VP versus Alliance. So, Alliance, Fnatic. We can talk about a lot of things. I think you said it best when you just focused on what happened to S4 and Hani mid.
He was a sad guy. I mean, your courier gets killed before you get your bottle.
This is S4, obviously.
Yeah, S4,
for people just tuning in.
Hani, he had like a really great time. Hani had 12 minutes, treads Orchid. That's pretty good, you know, last time I checked. And S4 got his bottle killed before he got it with Walking Courier because no tail had invis. Then he proceeded to go 1-7 because they just sat on the Queen of Pain the whole game. They're like, he's the only person who can really function against the 5-man push strategy because he has a decent amount of AoE. Juggernaut, not really good against 5-man push. If we shut down S4, we shut down the game, and that's pretty much exactly what they did.
I didn't like the Juggernaut pick in the first place, James, and I said that to Drasplin. He didn't care.
I like this guy.
That's exactly what happened.
We're going to be friends.
Good. He's coming back to our house later.
Yep.
The initiation.
Anything could happen.
Yes. Either way, I want to add on to that point, previous point. The Juggernaut going up against a Lifestealer. Lifestealer dominates mid-game. Juggernaut not so much. He's kind of like a walking Omni Slash until he gets...
Well, I want to stop you because Juggernaut actually does do well mid-game, but not against that lineup.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you push, if you have a pushing lineup with a Chen and the other guy, like then you can
he works mid-game, but when you're fighting against a Lifestealer,
then no,
like...
Right. No, I know what you were saying, but, you know, for the people who might not know.
Okay, well, hi, Pyrian.
What's up?
So
Shots fired.
the Juggernaut not working out, it's only really not working out, I guess, when S4 gets shut down so much. Because if S4 had room to breathe, then that would give Juggernaut the room he needed. Is that something you would say?
It's not just room. It's about trying to delay the push, because the longer you delay the push, the weaker it becomes. None of the treants or anything else really scale outside of the Forge Spirits. And the later the game goes, you can just walk into him and tank him at some point. They're irrelevant. But at that early stage, like anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, that's where they feel the strongest. And that's the point where Juggernaut's kind of like, I can't do this on my own. I can't walk into this much physical damage, even just tanking those whole waves and tanking a Lifestealer attacking you. You need more.
Also, what you were saying about you obviously want to get Scepter Omni Slash, and with so many things to ping
he doesn't like...
No, he does. He does. He was saying, you've got to get Scepter Omni Slash, right?
In that game, it's really hard for him to itemize, because if you go something that's greedy in terms of farm, you lose your towers anyway.
What
if you go for something like a Drum's Manta, does it change the game? Probably not. I mean, that's why I think that when you can't think of a single item that's going to change your hero and how well he does in the game, then you don't have a good draft for that hero. That's the feeling that you get, because you're like, oh man, I need like 3 items before I can fight.
I'm still going to go with Aghanims is the best item for Juggernaut.
No, it's okay in that situation.
And you should always buy it.
When is it not okay to build an Aghs?
On Jug?
Yeah.
I think when you're playing like a...
Is it after the BKB and Blink?
I think it's actually always okay. Honestly,
I
think it's actually always okay.
Do you remember when Solar used to pick Juggernaut and go mid and
get
rush Aghanims?
in the qualifiers.
Qualifiers.
TI3 qualifiers.
I was adamant the Aghs was awesome. He started doing
and then I remember, because I said that it did no damage, and I was wrong. I've changed my view. Okay,
cool. Well, either way, we focused obviously on Hani. I think was the MVP. Was that safe to say?
Hands down MVP. Yeah, I think watching it from my perspective as a non-Invoker player, easily impressed by Invoker players, even then, he was ridiculous. The Sunstrikes he landed, how much he dominated Quap. The bottle being taken away was a big factor, but I thought he played superbly well.
I just have one last talking point. We talked about Loda, we talked about S4 as well. What do you think of Admiral Bulldog? Like, is there anything that he could have done in that clockwork? Was the pick irrelevant?
It was irrelevant. I mean, it's not his fault. Again, a lot of what happened that game was just due to S4 getting absolutely shut down in the draft. Because when you have a clockwork, you typically want heroes who can follow it up and go for kills, which is supposed to be S4. S4 is supposed to be the guy, aggressive blink in, go for the kill, in and out, you know, stop the push by picking off one hero. Well, he never got his start. So if you don't get the start on queen, you can't do that aggressive blanket. And Admiral Bulldog tries to stop fights by doing defensive cogs, which he did very well, to his credit. But it's not enough. Like, that doesn't stop a death ball push when you have that kind of advantage.
Also, is it? I might be wrong, but I'm fairly sure he was the lowest level hero in the game.
Admiral Bulldog, he might have been. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, I think he was. It didn't go well for him anyway. Yeah.
Well, either way, it's definitely congratulations to Fnatic. Hani certainly played fantastically in the whole team. And something we can maybe hit on here is S4 used to be known as the player that you probably wanted to shut down when you played against Alliance, but these days it's not so much. So I think it was a combination of S4 getting shut down and also Alliance actually not getting the picks they wanted, the lineup they wanted. If they had a decent lineup going into the mid game and S4 got shut down, normally they will come back. So it was a kind of 2 hits. That was too much, and Fnatic are a strong team, and they will stay ahead if you give them the opportunity. So we'll wrap that up there, and it means that we're going into the next game, which will also be the last game here of today, which will be Virtus.pro versus Alliance. We already know Alliance, maybe not what they're completely capable of, unless you've seen them in the past, because they're capable of amazing things. But Virtus.pro are the unknown coming in here. They're bringing in a new player. They've just removed someone that they picked up very recently. We can take a look at their roster straight away if we want to, because this is really the talking point for Virtus.pro. No solo. There's no solo.
Then if there's no solo, they're like a dual lane and a tri-lane?
No, it's 2 dual lanes and then the jungle.
But
They're
that's
just playing
solo jungle.
No, they're playing 4v5. They just don't have that person on the team anymore. So it's just like 4v5. They're just that confident.
Sorry, I thought this was a serious broadcast. What are you guys doing?
What gave you that impression, Pyrian?
Really?
Nice to meet you.
Oh, hey. How you doing, Andy? Yeah,
Okay.
nice to meet you.
Awesome. Got that out of the way. But I think that losing solo, even though he left on his own accord, I think, right? Like, he left, he didn't get kicked, right? Or we do?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Okay, so we're speculating.
Let's
Let's
But
not
still,
speculate.
He was a good solo player.
Okay.
When we saw them play against Kawaii the other day, he was
his
one of the
offlane
highlights of the game. He
was
played
good.
spectacular. He had so much farm. He put a lot into the game outside of everyone outside of G, I think, who maybe played a little bit better than him. But that's just because he's mid.
Maybe
I mean,
he won
that's
the
his
lottery.
job.
Won the lottery in real life. Thought he'd pack it all in, just get him retire.
Well, they did lose a game
$322.
against Kawaii, and maybe there were a lot of rares on that game.
Yeah, he lost it.
323 this time.
Wow, new world record.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how many he won. He's all the way to the bank. Speaking of some of the other members of Virtus.pro, G, also known as, I think it's God, isn't it?
God killed them all.
Killed them all, yeah.
Oh, okay, that
That's the
makes
full
more
name.
sense. But G playing mid now. He came from LGD International. G as a mid player, for me, has been the anchor of this team. He's so good mid. He's doing a lot more for Virtus.pro than he did for his previous team, LGD International. Doesn't matter what you give him, he will play it the way it's meant to be played. He will play any hero around the opponent's lineup the way it's meant to be played. Absolutely amazing performances recently out of this guy. He is a threat to S4 because they're most likely going to meet in this game. What can you say about G?
Honestly, if I'm thinking like 1v1, we negate all of the other heroes from the other teams, which I know it's obviously a 5v5 game, but individually, I think G's probably a better mid than him. But I think S4, he does more with his team, which is what makes him so good, because he captains.
Well, he's got 4 other members. G's only got 3.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's a big
that could be tough,
big
actually. But seriously speaking, I think G is mechanically very talented. He has some questionable decision-making from time to time, but usually that's outside of the laning phase. That's when he tries to go for ganks or something like that. But his performances recently, he is on his A game. And I think even S4, I think potentially given a good matchup, might just fall to that.
All right, and one last person I think is worthy of talking about. This could be dangerous for VP, Light of Heaven. He has a record. If you looked at his records on paper and see how well he's played in his career of Dota, currently he seems at his worst, Light of Heaven. If you want to disagree with me, if you can, but his recent performances, Light of Heaven on that carry has not been solid.
I wanted to talk about this too, because we had brought it up earlier during the broadcast and we didn't have a whole lot of time to hit on it because, you know, we were moving forward. But when you're playing a carry role, the ideology behind how you play the game is totally different than an offlaner. An offlaner is go to the lane, get what you can, don't really play greedy. That's most of the time what you're going to do. Maybe a bit different now that 6.79's come out and you can contest pulls. But when you're a carry, you want to try to play as greedy as you can while still getting away with it. And I think that's really out of his comfort zone. And it shows in the Luna game that he played the other day. He just got caught over and over and over again. And when you let that kind of thing happen, as a one role, especially on heroes who absolutely need the farm like a Luna, your whole game plan falls apart. You can't recover from that.
I agree with that point. However, if we think about the time where Light of Heaven shined, it was the time where he was picking Windrunner more often than Kuroki does Rubik these days.
Yeah.
And
That's a lot.
yeah, and with that hero, he would just stay in the offlane for 20 minutes. He would kind of play it like a carry, not in the sense of just like being greedy, but the fact that he would be very passive in his movement. And he would just join the team fights. Once everyone forgot about this, it kind of like felt like every hero for his was Broodmother. Let's just stay in a lane, stay there, kill towers, get a little bit of farm.
It's actually very similar to Koiva.
Koikva.
Yeah, that's
There you
very
go.
It's a very
Well done.
thank you. Thank you very much. It's very similar to how he played some of his offlaners. He was really adamant on getting his farm and kind of disappearing and finding all the cheeky places around the map to pick up the gold. And then when he joined Teamfight, you were like, oh, wait, where did all these items come from? So we'll see how Light of Heaven is going to perform. If you're going to sum up, guys, just sum up Virtus.pro as a kind of style, as a team, what can we expect for them in a best of one?
I honestly don't know. I haven't watched much of their play, but I will say that losing a player this close to a tournament can't be good.
Yeah, definitely not good. But for me, it's CIS Dota all the way. Just try to establish map dominance as soon as you can. Going for kills is more than just going for kills nowadays. If you're a team like VP, it's try to establish early objectives, pick very aggressive, either push kind of style, go for initiation. Play to your strengths like G. Give him Queen of Pain, give him Pugna, something that he can have a huge impact with and go from there.
All right, well, aggressive Dota is going to have to come out of VP, and that might be an easier way to play the game with a new member to the team. So we can also just mention who G will be going up in the middle in this matchup. I guarantee you're going to want to watch middle, because G versus S4 is going to be great. We can take a look at S4. Now, this guy, okay, sure, last game, he didn't have the easiest time, but unfortunate maybe. He probably played as good as you could when you lose your bottle and you just have that amount of pressure and you're up against an Invoker. This time round, he won't let this happen again.
I seriously doubt it. Like 2 games in a row, probably not.
But the problem is, I think G is also a better mid than Hani. So he's got like a tougher challenge, but he should be able to get what he needs out of this. So
that's where champions are made, James.
That's it.
You know what? S4, go to Pac. That's like your go-to hero. He plays amazing against that.
I want to see Magnus, man.
You're gonna see, oh, actually,
his mag
his
really
mag
good.
was really, really
Like,
good.
Yeah.
Oppa.
And his name is Son of Magnus, right?
It feels, yeah. Good stuff, Magnusson. But the thing is, if you want now, you kind of have to build a lineup around Magnus, while Pac feels like you can just throw a Pac around there.
The great thing, I just think Pac has so many, is so much more versatile.
Yeah.
It's like you can actually dominate the lane as long as it goes averagely well. Like a lot of times versus like a Queen of Pain or something, but if the Queen of Pain, anybody overextends on a Puck, you can really catch them out with just a decent silence.
Yep.
And then in terms of the initiation, you get a lot more out of coil than you would an RP. And counter initiation, maybe the RP is a little bit stronger, just because it does lock people down, and on a counter initiate, that's crucial if you hit free. And you know, Puck coil, if people have BKBs and stuff, it doesn't affect. But overall, Puck for me, a little bit stronger than Magnus. I think we haven't seen him pick Magnus too often, but he does play what people knew, one of the best Magnuses.
Yeah.
I think we've seen him abroad once in China Alliance.
Yep.
And I believe Magnus came out there at least a couple of times. I think I remember, and every time it was like perfect positioning, perfect initiations, or counter initiations. So either hero is good. I wonder what G can play though. He's famous for his, was it Queen of Pain?
Queen of Pain is his big hero. I mean, that's really his hero.
He was TA too.
Yeah. If I get a Queen of Pain versus Puck, I'm happy. I don't have to watch any other lanes. It'll just be like that.
Just sit there.
But he's D.
That's one of the favorite 1v1 matchups you have, like really.
Yeah.
I would rather see a Puck than a Magnus. Puck's more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Magnus, you kind of know what's coming, but Puck, anything can happen. I think he's a real playmaker.
So before we get into the game, and hopefully the guys will be ready, and soon as if you have any information,
we're in the draft, like we just started.
No one told me. How rude.
Well, it just like literally just started
as you were talking.
Yeah. We didn't want to cut you off, man.
It's this, isn't it?
And talking.
No.
Well, having hair.
Yeah. That's why you treat me like this, isn't
Who
it?
needs hair? We're rocking the cue ball.
At least it's not as shiny as it was a while ago.
Equal. Okay,
the makeup lady saw me and she's like, "You," and I was like, "Okay, it's fine. Less shiny."
Well, we'll settle our differences later.
Okay.
But for the moment, we'll enjoy some Dota, okay?
Yeah, cool. Bring it on anytime.
VP versus Alliance. Too Good and Bruno versus Draskell, Empyrean Flax. That will be the finale of the Dream League. We'll make it happen here at ASUS ROG. into the game with Andy.
All right, guys, we're inside of the draft here. Virtus.pro taking on Alliance, last game of the day. Alliance coming into this game off of their pretty bad defeat, actually, against Fnatic. So, Pyrian, we talked about the draft a lot last game that Alliance had going. Maybe pick a little less greedy, try to get some more impactful heroes for loaded to play?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I think we had problems with the lineup. You said the Jug was a bad pick, and I think you were right. And it went bad from there. The pick phase didn't go well, and then losing the bottle early. I don't know. I don't think we could just put it down to one thing. But we know that they're a great team, and I think they'll come back fine.
5 seconds
Bruno,
remaining.
your thoughts?
I'm actually curious about Krill.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's Cliff.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Who's
I was
Krill?
going to mention that, but I totally spaced
Yeah,
because
Cliff.
we were talking about relevant things.
It's jumping off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's
Standing
kind of
cliff.
I hope it's not that cliff.
Standing in the
because
cliff?
Standing
I don't
on
think a
cliff.
suicidal player is going to be like good to have on a
Well,
team.
maybe you can put them in the
Although-
suicide lane.
Wait.
Which
What
is
a-
actually
what
where
about-
Solo
what about-
played.
But the
I mean,
strat
just
that we talked
something.
about, the strat we talked about, where you feed, and then let your carry kill the guy that you fed to, and you get a ton of money. Remember? So maybe that's his whole
Alliance's
plan.
turn to pick.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Could work. If they give it to somebody like G, I think he has enough mid-game impact to just,
Yep.
get that through, get
Come
G
on.
like a 1,400 gold beyond Godlike.
I
streak.
believe in Light of Heaven.
Do you?
I think he will come back and just shut our mouth. I mean, we can't be this guy. It's like football, you know? It's like your team loses a game and suddenly it's the worst team in the world. It's like this guy has a couple of bad games and suddenly we forget everything Light of Heaven did.
10
And
Yeah, I
not
know.
even like during Navi, like before in Dota 1. He was the ultimate Russian carry player.
Yeah.
And when I say Russian carry player, it's not
Virtus.pro's
only about
turn
like
to
him
pick.
being in Russia, but like the CIS Dota, which was kind of a big deal back then. So I want to see, he has it in it.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt,
Yes.
basically. You're like, you know what? I think that he can do it.
Alliance's
I'm
turn to
inclined
pick.
to agree with you because once you've been there, I don't really think it's possible for you to really lose everything. They use the term like washed up or whatever, but it's really just you either practice a lot or you don't practice a lot, and I think that you can fall into that trap of thinking that you
Alliance's
might not have to
turn to
practice as
ban.
much anymore, and then you find yourself in a spot where you're like, well, everybody actually got a lot better.
Yeah.
Maybe I should practice again. Maybe that's just where he is. But we are quite a bit into the bans and picks so far. So on the side of VP, they're going to take a Clockwork and a Rubik in response to the
10
Lich
seconds
and the Bounty Hunter
remaining.
coming out from Alliance. So Alliance, again, still picking pretty greedy.
5
I'd say Lich,
seconds
though, Bruno,
remaining.
maybe not as greedy as last game.
I mean, it always helps to
Reserve
have
time.
dual lanes when you have
Yeah.
Lich. You can decide just to go with the safe lane carry and the Lich, an off lane and a jungle, which is totally possible, or you can just put the Lich in the off lane. I don't think that will happen because when you have a Bounty Hunter, the Bounty Hunter really doesn't need the Lich that much. I feel it's kind of a dual lane that, well, can get some kills. There are so many other combinations that you can put the Lich with or the Bounty Hunter with. So might be a Lich going into the safe lane.
Alliance's turn to ban.
It will work for Alliance. It's too early to tell.
Well, Pyrian's a Lich expert.
Yes.
So honestly, we should be asking him.
Well, bear in mind that my expertise is completely false, but also
But wait, you have 10 times more Lich games than I do.
I probably
like
have
literally
10
10
times more
times.
Lich games than most people do, but that
remaining.
was Lich prior to 679, and it has completely changed.
5
I've played him
seconds
maybe 10
remaining.
times since the patch. I think maybe slightly less than that, but it's around that. And he doesn't feel
Reserve
like a hero
time.
that gets left behind as much as he used to because of the changes made to sacrifice.
Virtus.pro's
There's not really, I
turn
mean,
to
his ult
ban.
has a few more bounces, but you did
Virtus.pro's
more
turn
than
to
often than
pick.
not, you don't get all the bounces off anyway. So I
Well,
just.
in that video, they're kind of saying that you do. So, I mean, like if you get all the chain
Thanks.
frost bounces, they're just like,
Yeah,
they're out to get us today.
Yeah,
man.
you're right. If you can get every single chain frost bounce, holy cow. But I mean, geez, that's hard enough to do. You got the Delta split. Alliance know all about the Delta split. Over there, of course, they've got the Lich. But I don't know. He is a great hero. I think he's fantastic. I don't like to see him in the
10
solo offlane
seconds
because he
remaining.
is still pretty easy to kill, I think.
He
But
can
he's
be.
fast.
But-
Yeah, he is.
He's one of the
If you get
highest
tracks
base
on him,
move
but
speeds.
yeah.
And you don't have to really sit by the creep wave anymore.
Well, I die a lot when I'm playing him, is
Reserve
what I'm trying to say.
time.
Maybe
Well-
you just need to work on, if you see heroes on the other team, you think to yourself,
Run
do they
away.
have a stun?
Okay.
Do they have like any disable killing
I hear you.
potential?
So
and then
use
you're like,
like logic,
Logic,
and judgment,
yeah.
and positioning.
Really?
And
Logic
then-
in
Is there
Dota?
something else we can?
translate that into
Yeah.
winning your lane?
No,
All right, well, I
it
tried.
was a nice plan.
I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I have below a 50% win rate.
You do.
I
So do
yeah.
I.
I'm
Wow.
not lying. I actually have below 50% win rate. So I don't even know like why am I doing this?
How many games? How many wins do you have right now? Over
like
1,000?
1,300-ish.
Oh, wow. I've got
That's a lot of
822.
It is a lot of games. It's only one of my accounts.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He has secret accounts.
You play with your viewers a lot, though, right?
Oh yeah, I play with
And
like
that drags
viewers,
you the hell
subs, my
down. Like,
friends.
I've played with you, and we always lose.
But it's still fun.
I think our
that's
win
the
rate is
important part.
10% probably.
I think that might be optimistic,
pick.
actually.
Yeah.
10% win rate.
Yikes.
We'll have to work on that in the next few weeks.
I like it. It's going to be a good time. You know what else is a good time? Picking Visage with heroes like Clockwork. I love that combination, especially. It's so easy to line up the familiars, 4 stuns inside of cogs, plus Soul Assumption and Battery Assault in conjunction do an unreal amount of damage. And just having the uptime on Visage familiars to get those auto attacks off after you stun is an insane amount of burst that heroes like Lich and Bounty Hunter just can't simply live through. So Virtus.pro so far, I do love their draft. They also have a Rubik, which we haven't really talked a whole lot about. He can steal track here. It's perfectly, you know, it's opportune, I suppose, if he can do so. And now Alliance, they don't have any real disablers yet. So we're looking for another high impact mid here, most likely for S4. They're going to need another support and potentially a carry for Loda.
And let's hope it's not a Juggernaut this time, right?
I think Juggernaut functions better in this draft already than he would have in last games.
But what's the strengths? Like, what's the difference between what Juggernaut can do right now compared to what he could do?
Well, if you look at Virtus.pro's first 3 heroes, the things that we keep in mind are this. Both supports are already picked. The offlaner is likely picked because I don't think G plays a whole heck of a lot of Clockwork, which I could be wrong. I was wrong last game when I said Bulldog didn't, and then Bulldog played it because they last picked Queen, so I was wrong on that. But I'm assuming it's going to be offlane, which means that Prophet banned out, obviously, Juggernaut banned out. If Juggernaut was actually pickable in this situation, he would be a heck of a lot better. But he is banned.
Yeah.
So if I were picking him, now would be the time where I would be regretting it because I see a lifestealer.
Yeah, with that lifestealer there, it becomes kind of hard. I mean, we saw what happened last game. The lifestealer just chews into you. You can spin, yes, but my rage is better than your spin.
Yes.
Because I can still attack while raging.
I can still steal your life through your sword.
Yep.
It's kind of potent, actually.
It is pretty strong. And now we're going to see the lifestealer on Loda, and I think that's a hero that suits him better.
Yeah, I like it when they give Loda something that can contribute to the game in a big way. Because if you ask me, a lot of people, they have kind of like a love-hate relationship with Loda. A lot of people think that, oh, you know, he's carried by his team and blah, blah, blah. But I personally think he's really good. He's really good at knowing when he can fight. And he's gotten a heck of a lot better than what he used to be when the team first formed with enemies way back.
Is he good at lifestealer? Do you think he's good at lifestealer?
Yeah, I think, you know, decent win rate on that hero. Not bad.
That's a small sample size.
I mean,
can't get
well,
6 is pretty big, actually, considering, like...
Let's say the last 6 games he played with lifestealer, he won. Is that a small sample?
Wait, you're saying the last 6 or?
Yeah.
Since when is
well,
that?
this is 679.
Okay, well, yeah, that's good.
I mean, I feel that at
but he's playing on like one of the best teams.
Yeah, as well. But, I mean, to be fair, if you look at, I mean, I'm going to cheat here, right?
I'd need to see his
individual
performance.
They're 14-1.
They're 14-2 now.
They're 14-2.
Yes. I'd need to see more statistics than just a simple win rate.
But I want to
fool you. Because if I get carried by someone and I get a win, does that mean I did well with that hero or not?
Well, it does.
I want it broken down. Average kills, average assists. Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you die a lot and you feed a lot, maybe you just focus the other team's attention towards you. So that
create space.
Yes, exactly.
I'm very good at that. Tinker
pick. I love Tinker, actually. I think he is really strong. And again, frontline hero with Clockwork, being able to sit back, spam March of the Machines, add some split push. The only question mark is the bounty. We see a lot of teams today picking split push heroes into Bounty Hunter. And it seems to be 50-50, give or take. It's not worked out fantastically well. We saw Fnatic play earlier for them. It was fine to run Prophet, but again, he's going to be banned out here. And Bounty Hunter, for me, is that one hero that if you let him run away with the early game, you're just going to get absolutely handled by a massive gold lead. And yeah, we're going to have a couple of DCs, I believe. We're going to most likely be rehosting the game. I assume it's going to be AP and maybe the teams will get sorted with what their last picks are.
Probably.
Not sure just yet, but...
Feels like, I mean, yeah. It's kind of these complicated situations where you have a DC at the middle of the draft and like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You wish you had pen and paper and just started writing
I think if you're Alliance, you want to redraft the same thing and just say, you know what? I want to do all this stuff together. Lifestealer, lean up, Bounty, Lich, high kill potential, strong lanes. Bounty Hunter is not going to be that effectively zoned out by heroes like Rubik, especially in Visage. I mean, what do? Walk up Soul Assumption and then lift. There's no damage between these supports, and that's the big problem because Bounty can get a lot in this type of draft.
Yeah.
So now I'm still looking at the bottom pick phase here, and we have Lina, Lich on one side as the support, and on the other side we have Rubik and Visage. Like we have in both cases one of the more defensive kind of support, the Lich and the Rubik, and then one really aggressive, very bursty kind of support as well, in the case of the Lina and the Visage. Based only on the supports, do you think if they go at this point it's really silly to talk about tri-lanes because maybe we see dual lanes, but if they were going into a tri-lane, which tri-lane would you rather have in your team?
I always like a Lifestealer nuke tri-lane because it's so easy to get in and out. It's really easy to secure the kill and back up, especially, again, heroes like Visage. How are they going to walk into anything? I mean, they have a Sven now, so they could do the Rubik, Visage, Sven combo. That gives them some kill potential on a hero like Lina, assuming this draft stays the same. We don't know if it is yet.
Yeah.
But if it does,
Random Sven.
Alliance are going to have to pick. Right now, they need a mid, of course, so we're looking at potentially just a dual lane with a Lifestealer and a Lina. Maybe the Lich does just go to the off lane and say, you know what, I'm just going to sack creeps. I know that I'm going to be taking away from the Sven no matter what, and I'm content with just having the Bounty Hunter try to find his farm up there.
Fair enough. Now, should we actually go into the rehosted game?
Maybe.
Probably. It would be a good idea.
It would be decent.
It would be a decent idea. And actually, while the camera is not looking at me, I'm going to do the same, but I'm not with you guys. So
that's okay. They rehosted the lobby. Everyone's going to get suited in. Let's take a quick. No, okay. Well,
just
Bruno
down
is
to the basement
down there. Yeah, everyone's leaving.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah. Come on back up. Yeah.
Where is everyone?
Just give Bruno a hand. Sorry.
I got scared. I lost you for a second, man. Jeez. Anyway, guys, we'll be getting back into the game here shortly. We have everyone back into the lobby. It's rehosted. We're just waiting on the go-aheads from both teams. And then I believe, is it hosted all pick? Nope, it's CM. We might be looking at a redraft.
Yeah, I think they've noted down, because they hadn't finished the bans. There were 2 bans left, and there were 2 picks left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to come back in. I think they're just going to quickly go through it all and get going.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but he gently brushed my side when he came up, and I was, excited. I was like, yay, Bruno's back. I was happy to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you, too. Well, at least other part, because I had a different angle right now. But, yeah, I'm in the game.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, up to the Tinker. It's going to be the same draft, but Tinker was a random pick.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it was okay in that draft, honestly. I was thinking, I can totally get behind this. And then all of a sudden they're like, no,
it's just a random thing, yeah.
RNG.
And that's what makes guys like us look silly.
It's fine.
They
we
did
get
it
to
on
look
purpose.
silly.
Yeah.
We get to look silly and
I think
look good at the
we
same
actually
time.
thrive in those situations.
I think so as well.
When stuff kind of goes sideways and you're like, that's not supposed to happen. And then suddenly you're like, oh, yeah, that's actually pretty
That's
funny.
why they bring us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, DreamLeague.
DreamLeague.
Rejoining the game. Random. Oh, no, actually, they're
doing the same.
They're doing the
It's going
same.
to be the same, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to actually repeat the drafts in that way. I'm actually impressed.
Well, thank goodness the teams actually know what they picked.
Yeah,
that's
because I'm like a goldfish, like 10 seconds out of sight, out of mind.
That's me as well. It's like, what did I van? I guess.
I know they had a
Visage.
Maybe.
These guys had
Yeah. Visage was the 3rd pick.
Spirit.
And then
Spiritman is banned. Yeah.
Nice.
they took a Lifestealer
Lifestealer,
after the bounty.
That's right, yeah.
So that was the 3 on the side of Alliance.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now
Well
we have a
remembered,
situation where it's
Luna?
like,
Wait.
Okay.
Luna.
What's up
Really?
with this?
Wait, wasn't it Visage?
Yeah.
I thought it was up to the 3rd pick.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's
not.
just.
Okay.
There
And
we
then they
go.
picked the Visage.
Okay.
So it wasn't going to be a Sven. It was going to be a Luna. So now you can see that Virtus.pro are probably just anticipating the fact that it's going to be a tri-lane dodge. And Lich still functions in the same manner in the situation because the Luna, a Rubik, and a Visage, not enough damage to really zone out a Bounty Hunter that effectively. And if you just send the Lich to the offlane, sack creeps, Luna gets less
10
farm,
seconds
abuse Lifestealer during the mid-game. Lifestealer versus Luna matchup, I want to say
5
Lifestealer has a pretty high win rate
remaining.
against that. I mean, Bruno's the stat man. Maybe he can help me out later with that. But at least right now, I'm thinking that Lifestealer mid-game versus Luna is really strong. Now, he does have things like Clockwork to back him up, and Visage Birds, maybe, if he gets lucky. But when the Rage is on, if they catch out Luna, dead hero. Like, just absolutely dead.
Also, look at the head-to-head record. Virtus.pro, last 2 times they faced Alliance, they've lost 0-2.
Well, a lot of teams lose against Alliance. They're like
Yeah,
considered
it's
the best
kind of
team.
hard to win
I
against a
realize
team,
Alliance,
honestly.
You know,
Turn to
Alliance just
ban.
lost, didn't they, Draskell? Did you see that?
That's like saying
You were casting that game.
Na'Vi went to TI a few times and they did well.
No, it's not.
It is like the
Well,
same
that's
thing.
equally valid. They did good at TI2. They did do well at things, didn't they?
It's just like the super...
I'm just saying, if you're looking at look at the last 4 games. 2 of the last 4 games were against Alliance and they lost.
Well, maybe third time is a charm.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're looking at here.
Speaking of winning and losing, that Luna pick for Virtus.pro hasn't working so far. And I did this because I remember the Light of Heaven games.
Yeah,
we saw
that's
yesterday.
what I was thinking too. I was thinking in the back of my head, Light of Heaven played this against Kawhi the other day, and he went something like, what, 1-8?
Oh, wow.
Or something ridiculous.
Pretty much.
He just died everywhere. And Virtus.pro, for that game, let's be fair, they weren't really on the same page. I don't want to blame it just on Light of Heaven. It seemed like a total communication breakdown. So hopefully that's not going to be the same case when they're going up against a team of Alliance. But, go ahead.
I'm going to be wild and suggest that actually it's going to be a dual lane Visage clockwork. Because I think that dual lane can work. If you get a good battery assault with the Grave Chill, you can cog, you can Soul Assumption, you have some kill potential.
I think the important thing about that dual lane, if you field it, is that they can't actually kill that dual lane if you're a Lifestealer Luna, which is big. Because that means the Visage is still going to get some levels, which he needs. And if you do a defensive tri-lane with a Rubik, a Visage, and a Luna, and you have a Lich sacking creeps from your lane, then it's like, oh, we're going to have a really under-leveled Visage, and that is definitely not what you want. And because Virtus.pro have, I would say, pretty immobile supports, it would probably do them more favors to do that dual lane. So I'm kind of on the same page with you in that regard. Last pick, though, going to be Viper here for Virtus.pro. I like this a lot. I think Viper is absurdly strong against heroes like Lifestealer because his ulti isn't necessarily about the damage here. It's about the capability of stopping the Lifestealer at all costs because he is basically playing a one role here on a Lifestealer, which we don't often see. A lot of the times he's partnered with a secondary carry, but this game, it's going to be all Loda on that carry.
What about Lich? He's a carry.
Well, he can be a carry.
Yep.
I mean, when I saw Lich play last time, not in DreamLeague, of course, when we were casting the other day, he was played by Solo, who is now no longer on Virtus.pro, but he played spectacular.
Yeah.
And he had like AC, Aghanims, Mech. He was a carry Lich.
But Aki's going to be playing him, so
10
yeah.
seconds.
So Ake is actually going to... the reason Lich doesn't have legs is because Ake sawed them off and gave them to his team. Like, that's how much he gives away.
That's the dedication.
I thought Lich's legs were bound up in chains and concealed beneath a blanket.
I need to look now because...
Have a look. He's sort of floating.
Yeah,
but he has limbs.
He doesn't have, does he?
I'm not sure.
If you look
I
at
think
him,
I see
look
toes.
at that, see?
Maybe they're maybe he does have
They're all
feet.
bound up in
My
chains.
whole life is a lie. Lich has toes.
Don't you dare question my
two
Lich
toes.
knowledge,
Dear
sirs.
God. 125
You clearly know the
Lich
hero.
games. This is why we bring Pyrion to the cast.
This is what he adds.
Yeah, that's about it, though. Just knowing about Lich's legs.
Hey, man.
Well, we're seeing lots of Lich.
I bet you there's actually a lot of people out there who didn't know that, and now their mind is just blown.
Boom.
He has legs.
Best news ever.
Whoa.
Oh, EGM.
EGM doing the EGM thing.
He's going to spot out the entirety of Virtus.pro here sitting in the jungle. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do this, guys.
He's
Team?
decently fast. 295 is just a little bit below the average.
Yeah, it's
And
fine.
there's nothing
30
that BP can
seconds
do
to
to
battle.
catch him up if the Visage is not there. So it's going to be fine right now. We see lots of people in mid for the Radiant side. Like everyone is grouping up together.
That's a 5-man mid.
Yeah.
You've never seen this before.
I seen in 5v5 only mid, same hero, which is absurdly fun with some of the heroes and absurdly boring with Lich.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well,
what
actually,
happens if everyone gets sacrificed?
Well, actually, yeah, because
and
you get
no
levels.
one gets...
Like you get the levels from your creep wave, and they get the levels from their
But
creep
it's
wave.
actually completely useless because you still get the same experience either way, as long as you're giving it to
But
the
you're
whole
not getting
team
any
when you
money.
sacrifice. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
no money. But then you could have 10 Chain
But
Frosts.
Bruno,
all
they
bouncing around
increase
at
the amount
same
of gold you get per minute.
Wow.
So now it's going to be more exciting.
time. ARAM, but Lich. So all mid, all Lich. Yeah.
Clearly, I think this game is going to be more exciting than a 5 versus 5 Lich game where everyone goes sacrifice. I think we're all in for a very exciting game. It's going to be Virtus.pro taking on Alliance here. Creep Wave finally going to meet, and Virtus.pro. They're going aggressive
Wow.
with a Luna.
With a Luna. Now
That
Luna,
is,
yeah.
that's ballsy.
That is.
Luna is one of those heroes that's not really good at being aggressive in Trident, especially early levels. She's kind of squishy, has low range. She has a nuke, and it has a decent damage and quite a low cooldown. But that just doesn't cut it, really. Although, to be fair, with a Rubik and a Visage, you can pretty much put a Bloodseeker and get kills one way or the other.
Can I also ask a question? If perhaps you need her to get farm and you want her to be protected, would not being with 2 supports give her the chance to farm with that protection? They can keep pressure on Lifestealer as well. Maybe not get kills, but give her space. Is that something?
The problem is, the idea is correct. Like, the idea behind putting a tri-lane together like this to protect the Luna is more or less spot on. But if they transition the Lich down here, then Virtus.pro's tri-lane gets demolished. Like they can't do anything against a tri-lane with a Lich, a Lina, and a Lifestealer because the kill potential on Alliance's side would be very high.
Yeah, but huge.
But even just looking at this lane, Loda and EGM are still going to be getting levels, so Loda's not going to find quite as much farm as he would like. He's actually only 1 CS at the moment, which is the VP's credit. And they kind of had to do this because if they're just anticipating dual lanes out of Alliance, their tri-lane safe lane still doesn't get anything anyway.
Also, look who's coming bot. Aki is walking.
I mean, this is just.
This is the end of Virtus.pro's tri-lane. Like Ake making his way down here basically says, "Yep, your time, your fun, it's pretty much ended."
But now it's when you rotate your whole tri-lane top and bring the bounty hunter here and you next level them.
That is totally an efficient use of time.
Yeah.
One hero moving for 3.
S4 in all kinds of trouble mid.
Yeah, he's getting taken down here pretty quickly by G. S4 does have a couple of bottle charges.
He's taking lots of damage. G
Talk
as
about
well.
the Rune God RNG bottom lane. We're going to see initiation as well onto NS. Loses quite a bit of his HP. And this is the kind of kill potential we're talking about. Interesting to note that Loda didn't actually level open wounds at level 2. A bit surprising. He decided to go for Feast.
Well, I think he wanted just to play it a little bit safe, not knowing whether the Lich would make it there and just like if they would initiate and then early. Yeah. So just getting a little bit of life region makes your laning a little bit easier. You can go for some last hits, risking taking a little bit of last hits just because you're going to regen it. And now Bulldog aggressively. Oh, Aki gets the initiation there.
Telekinesis, Light Strike Array is going to hit. And NS trying to get some auto attack damage off. Not going to be quite enough. Soul Assumption's there. Ake really
so
low.
Close.
Only 161 damage though. It's only a level 1 Soul Assumption.
A couple of more glaive bounces on more, hits with the glaive, and he would have been toast.
The thing is, you can't skill glaive in this lane.
No, indeed.
Because you push the lane too hard, and then
it's still a glaive. It just doesn't bounce. Bear that in mind.
True.
Yep. In any case, the mid lane, looking at it a little bit, we have a Viper versus a Bad Rider. Now, Bad Rider used to be one of those heroes that dominated pretty much every single encounter. Right now, not as much damage. Look at G, he's just zoning out a Bad Rider. That would never happen before. A Bad Rider zones you out. You don't zone out of Bad Rider. But there are 2 important changes. First, the 10 damage difference on the Bad Rider, and also Viper Strike, sorry, not Viper Strike, the
goop?
Orb.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Well,
as I say
poison
that.
attack. G going to be in trouble. 4 stacks of Napalm. Make that 5. S4 is trying to go for the solo kill, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's running around in circles to the turn time. S4 going for the big play. He gets the first blood, but gives himself up in the process. That was such a nice play by S4. He knew that if G gets a single auto attack off in that situation, he dies before G. So he just runs around in circles under the tower, preventing G from autoing because his turn time is so low.
Amazing.
It's minus 80% or 70%, I think. And that kind of throws by the to the water hole the reason that I was making Viper feeling really strong in that lane right now, just because he can spam his orb. Unfortunately, S4 really, unfortunately for G, S4 really knows the limits of the heroes, and that's something that makes good players great players, which is when they can know to the last HP whether they can go ahead or not in a situation.
Arsar, double damage. They're going to throw a telekinesis on EGM. 3-man stun. They might get a return kill here, trading support for support. I think Arsar might have been better served to go.
Loda?
Oh, he does! It's going to be a double kill coming out in bottom lane. 2 drop. Ake might be going down as well. NS doesn't actually have enough for a soul assumption, but the Lucent Beam is there. 3 heroes on the side of Alliance, all going down. Virtus.pro's tri-lane. I mean, don't get me wrong, that DD was the only reason they managed to get a kill.
Yeah.
But that can be enough to turn the lane in your favor.
Now they will find a lot more farm. I mean, if you look at the Lifestealer, it was 18-2 versus 17-4.
EGM wants to go in, Light of Heaven, open wounds. Where's a Light Strike Array? EGM manages to land a Dragon Slave to follow it up, and just as we were saying, that might have been enough to win them the lane.
Run
it is. A kill. And
Run away.
So I think he's fine here.
Yeah. If she'd had the old Shakira blade, he would
middle G. He's going to get lassoed, drawn into the
circles
fire.
Again. It's so frustrating.
Wow. He can't auto attack.
That's crazy.
That's the power of lowering the turn rate of a hero. It's just, with Viper, you have no other resource. Like, some heroes have some spells that you don't need to turn to attack, to cast them. But with Viper, you can only right-click, and if you can only right-click, you have to look at the guy. You can't just speed backwards. That's not how. That's not a speed. That's something entirely different. So with that in mind,
that was a hook.
Yeah, that was something.
That was a hook. Yeah.
God is not really doing much here, and
S4 gonna be forced to TP back to base. I don't think he dies here.
No, shouldn't die.
That's the one weakness of Viper. If the hero that you're fighting against carries a TP, you can't kill him.
I like how many people say that Bloodseeker was not viable just because running a TP counters the hero, but
I
the
think
same people thinks that Viper is okay.
People really overestimate TPing away. Like, obviously dying is worst, but getting kicked out of your lane is just as bad. Top lane, Bulldog going to throw out a shuriken to seal a solo kill here on Cliff. So
that is a long walk back to lane.
I just want to point out what Admiral Bulldog did there, which is attacking and getting the windwalk damage from the fade time of windwalk.
Yeah.
You get to hit twice with the windwalk damage if you attack before the fade time. You have something like 0.5 seconds.
At level 2, I think you have 0.75. I think
the shadow strike,
down.
you mean?
No,
the Shadow Walk.
When you Shadow Walk with Bounty Hunter, if you attack in the fade time, you still go invisible and you get the Shadow Walk damage.
Oh, wow.
So you can hit like 60 damage. No, it's intended.
Bottom lane, telekinesis goes off. He might be low enough to go for a kill. Nice counter stun, but they misfire there on Arsart. They use the Frost Blast on him instead of Light of Heaven. I think they might have actually been able to get a kill there.
Now Loda wants to go back. He's salving and he's going for it. But NS,
no mana. He has a wand charge. He does get stunned out. EGM, they're going to try to turn it around on him. There's a Dragon Slayer.
Triple for Loda,
NS, he's going to get one. Will he be able to get the second? Light of Heaven, one for Ake. Not going to get him. Loda getting low as well. Open Wood's going to be there, saving it for the perfect time. It's going to be a double for Loda. Arsart should be able to walk away from this. Phase boots up on Loda. He did not seem like he wanted to stop there. I think he
was really optimistic.
If the creep wave was a little bit farther up the lane, I think he might just tower dive that because he has phase.
Yeah, but that was pretty much BP being a little bit too aggressive. I mean, you want to get those kills because Loda was so low. They felt that they could kill him, but unfortunately he was just away from the range of the Soul Assumption. So that Soul Assumption went to the Lina, which was at 80% health.
Middle. He's going to get caught out again. Bulldog's here, and the Chain Frost. The sheer amount of hate that's going out is just massive, but he gets the kill on Ake anyway. Ake staying a little bit too long, so we talk about sacrificial lambs. I don't know if that one was even necessary, but S4 going to be coming back here mid to try to help out Bulldog, who dies inside of Cogs. Unfortunate. So Bulldog
S4 gets the DD.
S4 like went for the rune and he immediately turns around, but it's like, what do you do? When the bounty hunter gets hooked, no creeps, it's really hard to live through that.
Just going back to that fight a moment ago, the moment that Loda didn't run but stood there and turned around, you knew that he was coming back in, and I think at that point they should have backed off, but like you said, they were kind of tempted because he was so low.
I mean, you have to see, if he's salving, if he was running back to base, there was no point in salving.
Exactly.
If he was salving, he was like, I'm going in. And he didn't use any of his spells.
Yeah.
So he had everything ready there. Lina got a really nice stun, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And also Dragon Slave on a couple of heroes.
It was right on the edge of the AoE.
Yep. But, I mean, that's the tri lane. It's still the score 8-7. It's not that lopsided to either side. Surprisingly, the Clockwork is a hero with the highest last hits.
He did really well against Bulldog in that 1v1. He did give away a solo kill, which is a bit of a bummer, but being able to farm like that, I mean, Bulldog is not a bad bounty hunter player at all. That's actually one of his core, I would say. He's played it, extensive experience. There is a sentry down here and an observer ward at the top.
Oh no, NS!
Walking in, NS, he's going to get caught out here.
He's totally
There's a Janata. Yeah. Dragon Slave, follow it up, and there's
kill secured.
Ake, you bastard. You're not supposed to get any money. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Evil like, oh, nice.
Coming in from Cliff. EGM going to be caught out. Now Eclipse, long distance from Light of Heaven. He's going to get one kill. Actually, Cliff gets that one. Admiral Bulldog on retreat. Here comes a Dust. Arsart cuts him off. Should be another kill. Admiral Bulldog trying to juke through the trees, but unable to do so.
Oh, the Lich was so close then to a sweet kill, but Aki just couldn't finish him off. Every time he auto-attacked him, he just healed up just enough to get away.
Now, if Lich hadn't used an ultimate against Viper, which I think it was a little bit unneeded, he would have had it there, and maybe it was a double kill.
Yeah.
But you play with that. When you play with Lich, that ultimate at low levels has a very big cooldown. You have to use it cautiously, not just use it just because.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you miss on situations like this. And now you're Loda. You're farming on the lifestealer. You're kind of putting pressure into the tower, and you're going Midas as well. And this is surprising, when you're in a contested lane, do you go for Midas?
Well, there's not really much contesting going on anymore. Middle lane, we're going to see another kill. G, he's going to be dropping once again, and he has just not been having a good time. I think S4 wants revenge. He just doesn't care who it's against. He wants to make somebody's life absolute crap, and that's pretty much what G has been living here. He's 2-4, not quite as bad as what happened to S4 earlier. He didn't get his bottle killed or anything crazy, but he's certainly not having a great game.
And you need that. That miss on the hook shot. Unfortunately, he's going to run away. The thing about Viper is if you don't get a good early game, you're not going to get much. Because you kind of need something to get going. You kind of need a little bit of momentum. And
do you think the Midas on Lifestealer was maybe because Luna, you know, he wanted to make sure he could stay on top items-wise, keep up with her farm, or not?
Well, the thing about Midas on Lifestealer is that even though he really wants Armlet really fast and maybe Drum his Basher, the levels are really important. Middle lane, S4 thinking about going in. No lasso, Soul Assumption going to come out. He might be dropping here. The double stun coming out. EGM gets them both. Laguna Blade, they're going to get a turnaround kill. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. They do lose their mid.
Did he get Laguna Blade, Rubik? Yes,
he did.
Rubik has Laguna Blade now.
That is a scary Rubik. You do not get rid of that spell.
Oh, no.
You, first, don't die.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't die. Second, use
hold
it
on to it.
Down.
Yep. Just go for it. It's huge damage at level 1 compared to...
He's going to try to, I think, solo Ake.
He can solo Ake.
Maybe he goes for the dive.
Probably.
They know where he is. And maybe he thinks, should I go on defense?
Oh, this could be a huge bait. Arsar, he's smoked up. He's running behind. He wants to go for Ake.
Ake's gone.
Here it comes. Laguna.
Oh, Jesus.
Fade Bolt. He's still alive.
He's alive.
He needs a telekinesis. No, he doesn't use it. Arsar.
Oh, no, you're paying for it.
Dagger finish. You're going to lose your Laguna Blade here, my friend.
Well, I mean...
what a waste.
I think he would have got him if you telekinesis there.
Yeah.
When he commits to that kill, he dies anyway because there was immediate reaction, but at least get something, you know?
It's a trade. Support for support. It's fine. I mean, killing a leech doesn't mean much, but you get to use the Laguna Blade.
What did you say?
It always matters.
It's taboo.
You know what? I've got to say, I think old Lich would have been underleveled and would have probably died then. But new, super-powered Lich is actually higher level than Rubik. So he can take the Shakira Blade, no problemo.
Like, he's almost level 9.
He gets experience, that guy.
That's really where Alliance are winning out.
I mean, he's old. He's a skeleton old. He gets a lot of experience.
Get caught here, stuck inside of the cogs. Kill goes to Arsart. The game's been really fast-paced. 23 kills in 13 minutes. This is pretty aggressive, kind of what I was expecting for both teams. Maybe not from Virtus.pro as much because they picked a Luna, but they ran aggressively, man.
CIS Dota, you have to play it like that. It's just like an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
If you don't get as many kills as minutes, by the time you get to 20 minutes, you're not playing proper Dota.
What's CIS Dota?
CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States. It's the old like Soviet Union.
Okay.
It's not like, if you call it Russian Dota, it's unfair to Ukraine and Belarus and all those other.
Of course, yeah.
And whatever you do, don't call them the same thing. They get real when you do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
Yep. It's not the same. It's like calling me a Brazilian.
Yeah. That would actually be worse, I think.
In my neighborhood, that means war.
In my neighborhood, you get cut for something like that.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
You guys live in Sweden.
Yeah.
Your neighborhood is down the road.
He's going to spot out G. EGM comes in with the stun. G just going to get picked off here, man. He is not having a good day. Loda actually doesn't manage to kill him. Wow, that auto attack range cliff. He goes in, misses another hook shot, unfortunately. Now chasing down EGM. Arsart, he wants to get a spell steal.
Can they kill Loda? I think they can kill Loda.
There's a tornado creep here and the cogs.
Wow.
It's a double for Cliff.
Wow.
Though,
stand in with a double.
Lasso onto NS in the river. Going to be pulled in. Not going to be able to do much about this. Sentry ward dropped, and
they got it. They got it.
They really want
to careful with this.
Frost, it bounces.
No, get away. Get those scripts away.
Cliff, he gets stuck inside of his own cogs. He is trapped in the wrong Thunderdome. Arsart drops as well. Eclipse used on the high ground by Light of Heaven. S4 gets a double in the meantime. And S4, he wants more, man. He really wants to go for this. He has 11 watch charges in a bottle. Well, yeah, but he used Eclipse already.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he couldn't die S4. He would have died to tower.
Nah, he's fine.
He's fine.
For them 11 wand charges, bottle?
Yeah, he is pretty fine.
Yeah, I think he would have actually been fine.
Yeah.
But I know it's risky. They don't have any vision behind the tower, so you can't really justify making a dive like that.
There's an armlet on Lifestealer right now, and suddenly, this is where Alliance are speaking. The Lifestealer with an armlet starts hitting really hard. You can push tower, you can kill anything. G, on the other hand, he's being a non-factor right now. I mean, he's going for a BKB, but all he has is, maybe an accent? Right, I think it's a BKB, honestly.
Yeah, if he doesn't go BKB, he's just going to get blown up during the fights. Even Shuriken damage in conjunction with Lina, Lich, that rider, you really need a BKB. And the thing that really sucks about him is that if you get a BKB, you get lassoed.
Yep.
You know, and then you're just like, well, what do I do?
And the Lifestealer still right-clicks you down. Yeah. And hurts a lot. So it's complicated for him because he is in one of the situations you were talking before when he doesn't have a good item to go for. You just go for something that tries to help you a little bit.
Oh man, we're gonna see a clash right here.
EGM?
Cliff leading the charge. EGM out in front. Immediate telekinesis by EGM. He's gonna get caught out and just destroyed. Arsart gonna eat a lasso. He's the second support for support trade Loda. He wants to go in, but he's gonna get Viper struck. He's probably gonna have to infest relatively soon. Wants to go
Wow, the damage.
But he just gets blown
So
up.
much burst.
Wow. Admiral Bulldog gonna get caught. Virtus.pro, they want to try to chase this. S4 gonna eat a soul assumption. They need to be careful not to overcommit. They took quite a bit of damage.
Bulldog wants to come back.
That Firefly. Cliff, he pops battery assault. He's just like,
case.
he's terrified. He's like, get him away from me. I don't know what's going on anymore. And Clockwork, he
TP's
finishes
away?
up his 4-staff now too.
This is a really close game.
Yeah.
Actually, much closer than I would have expected. I mean, we were talking, and not to say that Virtus.pro is a weak team, but he came off as one of the probably the bottom 3 of the tournament in terms of just like potential, which is still good because this tournament has 6 of the best teams in the world. But bottom 3, they're Alliance clear favorite for all of us. And I mean, Virtus.pro, while they're not really winning the game right now, they're clearly not losing it either.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the biggest problem is there's only one tower down right now in favor of Alliance, and the gold lead is already starting to get kind of out of control. And that's because of the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty's 11 now, level 2 track. Taking these fights, even though on the scoreboard it says that the game is even, the money that you get from track is ridiculous. In the more skirmishes that VP takes like that, the higher risk that they're giving away a lot more money to Alliance than they're ever getting out of the fight. Like, you need to win the fight hard. You can't go in and trade 2 for 2 if Bulldog lives through the fight, because you're still losing that engagement. So for me, VP, they still need to try to get something out of this mid game for themselves. And Alliance, no, they have no problem playing aggressive. As long as they don't take an absolutely horrendous engagement, I think they come out on top.
Yeah, they've got that good sort of catch you unawares, super burst damage lineup. Yeah, it's good.
Well, smoke here. Alliance sitting on the low ground. Everyone from Virtus.pro is sitting right here. They're going to cut him off. There's only 3 members of Alliance right now. S4 looks like he might try to get focused on. Flame break up to the high ground. Cliff hooks back in. He catches Ake. 4-step forward. Catches EGM on the back as well. S4, he's going to get telekinesed. There's a soul assumption. He drops. 4-staff going to be there as well, but not enough to save him. 3 down on Alliance. And that was, I want to say, unfortunate, actually, coming out for Alliance, because they walked into a 5-man with only 3 heroes. G, he teleports bottom. He's going to force Loda to teleport back to base, and looks like VP are going to be getting a tower out of this one.
And this is what you were talking about. I mean, you can't take trades, but you actually can if you're not losing anything in return.
Yeah, that's not a trade. That's just winning.
Yeah.
Well, it's
that swing in
trading
the
something
graph.
for nothing, right? That's pretty much how it works. But, I mean, they're doing really well right now, and it seems that finally the scoreboard is in their favor.
Snipe.
Nice.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and if that wasn't enough to have a bounty hunt, that'll give you free gold by tracking. He also gets free gold by killing couriers.
Bulldog might be the biggest team contributor this game over Ake. I think they might have to like duke it out, see who sacrifices more. Blood for the blood god, man.
You can't really say he's sacrificing. 3, 2, and 6. He's getting something as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
so, I think I'm a little bit disappointed in EGM right now. That's the thing. I think the hero doesn't lend itself to things like getting a windrunner, but look at him. He's farming middle. He knows he has to do that. That's what he plays. He plays a support that goes to the free lane and just tries to get something. When you're going into that Lina and you get this kind of starts, 2 and 7, you need to do something else for your team.
He gets cogged in, actually, but he still gets the lasso off. Cliff going to be stuck inside of the river. Interesting 4-staff. Laguna is going to be eaten. Dragon Slave to finish him off. S4, he will be able to escape, and that's a level 2 Eclipse that just goes down the drain. That is really, really bad for VP. So now they're down their initiator. Even if they don't have lasso, I think Alliance try to pressure this tier 1 mid.
That was that couldn't have gone better for them, really.
Yeah, that was perfect. I mean, you get the one hero who really kind of disrupts the team fights. Obviously, you have heroes like Rubik. Arsart is doing a really fantastic job, but it's not quite like dropping cogs and your whole team fight just goes down the drain. You're like, man, I can't get to anybody. It's really hard for me to initiate. But Cliff is going to be reviving pretty soon, and Admiral Bulldog doesn't really seem too keen on staying in the area. They're just going to try to siege this down with the current lineup that they have.
Light of Heaven, he is kind of in trouble. He has to run away. Admiral Bulldog, he can track, but it's nighttime now, so he can't see it. And Luna can... Actually, Luna is running the wrong way.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, Light.
Wow.
There he goes.
I can't fault him for getting picked off that way, because, I mean, that can happen. Doesn't matter how good your map awareness is. You can get caught by something like that. And Bulldog's going to get dusted, but he's just going to casually walk away. And now these picks with the track, it's starting to become more and more of a concern. Now, Alliance, they're going for Roshan. They picked up the Vlads earlier on Bulldog, so they're not going to be that low of health even doing it. You can see VP, they want to try to stop this as long as they can. Initiation coming out onto NS. S4 finds him. He gets bashed by Roshan. Stun onto the high ground from EGM. Ake secures the kill with a Frost Blast. And now Virtus.pro, I don't think they can fight this. Admiral Bulldog walking up to the high ground. There's no detection at the moment. He hooks Bulldog, I think, on accident. He can't see him at all. There's another Light Strike Array going to land on Cliff. Telekinesis onto Bulldog. Looks like Cliff is still alive for the time being. Pops the wand. Going to try to retreat from this fight. Loda, he wants to go in G. He has an ultimate in 2 seconds. Is he going to live long enough to chain Frost his throne? The Delta split from VP. No bounces. Can they turn this? The Familiar Stun's going to set up the ulti on Ake. Now he wants to get out. Gets Force Staffed away by S4. Another Light Strike Array used defensively. Alliance now are going to be the ones
Loda wants to go for it.
And Shadowhawk stolen. No, Arsart gets picked off by Loda.
It's attacking the cogs.
Viper Strike a little bit late. Arsart buys back. They really want to defend this Roshan.
I mean, they have to. Think about it. It's still Trace that it's getting money out of the Bounty Hunter. If on top of that you get 1,000 extra gold from the Roshan kill, adding Aegis on Loda, there's no way BP can stop them from pushing right now. I mean, they will go to the tier 2 towers, they will keep pushing. And when you look at counter push, what does BP have? Not much.
Glaives.
Glaives.
And Fade Bolt, I guess.
Yeah.
The Familiars?
Familiars aren't really counter push, though.
Counter
Counter push is usually seen as something like a wave clearing ability.
Right.
Like
I thought you meant like just how can they push back like towers and stuff.
Well, yeah, tower Familiar is great.
Right.
But not for actually pushing out the lane itself.
Crops.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So,
raiding towers, I guess.
Alliance says, we're not going into Roshan. I mean, we're happy to get you to buyback. This is a pretty even trade. NS got a tower down there, but if they can't defend this tier 2, it will be a waste for Virtus.pro. Virtus.pro, however, they are very diligent in the rotation, and they come and try to defend this tier 2. Admiral Bulldog is there on the hand. He's trying to make something happen for the team, but now they seem to decide not to go for any further objectives. Let's get a little bit more farm on Loda. S4 is there. He probably will want to build a Shipstick. And he has a Blink Dagger, he has a Force Staff, and yeah, he has 3,000 gold. I think this is a Shipstick kind of match. Because with the Viper outside of the equation, or the Luna outside of the equation, you're just plain simple win the team fights.
I think Hex is really good, but I also think that Yules accomplishes the same thing that he wants out of the Hex. Here's the problem that he has, is if he initiates, he wants to find a target that he can pull out without getting disabled. But if you buy a Yules, you can disable basically almost the same amount as a Hex, find your lasso, get out unobstructed, and it doesn't cost nearly as much. But Smoke, up to the high ground, they're going to pop a Dust, they're going to catch Admiral Bulldog with it, but they can't get close enough to initiate. So Virtus.pro looking for an opportunity to take a team fight here. They're not going to find it. And Alliance, they're going to stick around for the moment. But talking about the choice of Hex, obviously it's better. Like, the item is better. I'm not arguing that it's not. It's just like, you can get the same kind of effect in this game, I think, with the Yules, and it doesn't cost nearly as much. But I guess when you have 3,400 saved up, you're already kind of like there anyway. So maybe Hex.
Actually, I'm wondering, if you go Refresher on a Bat Rider, can you lasso 2 targets? And pull
at the same time?
At the same time?
It would be so hard to do that because they just nerfed the range on lasso. You have to be like inside of them.
They'd have to be, well, they could be cogged.
Yeah.
Or something like
they
that.
They could be black
hold. Yeah.
Which would be a little bit counterproductive, but would still work.
What if, new Aghanims upgrade for Bat Rider, every hero in like a 250 radius of your lasso target also gets lasso.
That's insane.
I think that's a little bit too strong. It's like a black hole where you can move
range.
them.
It's like...
Yeah, but that means black hole into bat ult.
Yeah, but you still have to like let the... I don't know, it's fine. Ice Frog, you're listening. I know you are.
Don't listen.
Do it. How cool would that be? You just see like 5 heroes attached to the Bat Rider.
Make Laguna Blade an AoE as well. Yeah, just stack it up. Everything AoE.
Could be legit.
And make it so that you TP home and you take the lasso target with you.
Yeah.
I'm taking you home, buddy.
Maybe we could have, you know, fountain hooks.
I thought fountain hooks were legit.
I enjoyed them, but some people hated them.
It was exciting.
Yeah. It looked so goofy as well.
And
almost as goofy as that.
I like this from BP. I don't think Alliance can do anything about this.
They don't know. So
yeah,
they obviously can't do anything about it.
Oh, but even if they knew, I think now they know.
Yeah, they've probably caught on. It's like, hey, they're not defending their tier 2 safe lane. I wonder if they're in Roshan. And then they're like, uh-oh.
Oh, shit, we're far away and we can't do anything.
It might be too late. If Light of Heaven gets this,
yeah, he's got it.
Could be good enough for a team fight. They might be able to take something really big on the back of this. But again, They need to win decisively. They can't settle for an okay exchange. They need to crush in order for them to be able to stay relevant in the game. So, Light of Heaven leading the charge. Tier 1 mid still stands for Alliance, by the way, at 26 minutes in. So you can definitely tell who's been the aggressors here.
But I mean, at this point, if you get these Aegis on Luna, you might not need to force fight. You can just safely farm, get a little bit ahead in terms of just knowing that you can't be killed this easily. Still, you'll need some people around you.
Oh, Cliff.
Knowing that...
a hook shot. S4 is invisible.
Fine.
I thought he would just go on that. By the way, choice on S4 is going to be BKB.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Cliff, he pops the cogs. Do they want to go on this? Light of Heaven, he's leading the charge. Gee, he gets caught completely out of position. Those cogs are actually going to backfire completely. Pulls him on the wrong side of the fight. Light of Heaven, he pops the BKB before his Aegis. He's going to be dropping once. He gets bashed by Loda. They're going to find Arsart as well. Light of Heaven's going to be spawning into absolute death. Cliff comes back in. A defensive stun coming out from EGM. Eclipse is popped, but I don't think it's nearly enough damage. And it looks like VP, they are just getting completely ran over right now. Cliff, he will be able to TP out. Flamebreak was on cooldown for a short duration, but Admiral Bulldog, he gets the last kill of the team fight. The only survivor is the Pots and Pans robot.
I have to give credit to Cliff. I mean, he's being quite impressive right now. Even with the team just not going with things in their favor, he was always with the right call, with the right hook, making things happen. So he is going to be a potential good addition to this Virtus.pro team.
I think if he could land his hooks, he would be sick.
Yeah, but
like,
I mean,
his positioning overall in the fights has been good, right? His laning was strong against Bulldog. He gave away 1 kill, which it happens if you're newer and you're kind of like nervous. Sometimes you do a little bit of silly things. You know, it happens to everyone. I can totally let that slide because he's still out CS Bulldog in the lane, which is still impressive.
Yes.
Oh, S4 gonna find G again.
Wow.
Track there.
Feels so bad for this
Dead
guy.
hero. Rest in pieces. S4 is going to eat a soul assumption. I don't know if Alliance necessarily pushed the Rags here. I think they might just be forced to go out, but they're fine with that exchange. They killed Light of Heaven twice. A lot of track kills coming out from Bulldog. I want to say almost everyone that they killed was tracked.
Yes. Yes. At this point, Bulldog is level 16, so...
Look at the
No, he's not level 16. He's
way.
level 15. But still, he can get 2 or 3 tracks per team fight, and that's just all you need right now. Because that gold advantage is going... Oh, Loda.
He's going to get caught. No familiar stuns.
He
A little bit
doesn't
late.
care.
He just goes straight onto Arsart.
Wow,
He's like, yep, I
4
want to go
hits.
for you. Retrack after the stolen
Right.
rage used by Arsart to get the extra money. The Bash Lord. He's a Bash Lord. Now
He
Cliff,
became
he's
a
running
Bash
for his
Lord.
life inside of the base. The track is there. Laguna Blade to seal the deal. S4, he pops the BKB. He's throwing out the sticky icky all over for NS.
GG.
And the GG is called Alliance. They're going to be able to take out Virtus.pro here in the last game of the day. So congratulations to them. Very well deserved. I think that Virtus.pro didn't necessarily get outplayed this game, barring maybe 1 or 2 fights. But the important thing to remember is track. Like, 1 tower dead in advantage of Alliance, but the whole thing with getting 4,000 gold advantage and only having 1 extra tower, that is all track money. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, and when you have a hero like Bounty Hunter, you kind of have to build your strategy around that. People say that Wisp or IO is one of those heroes that changes the game and forces you to play a different way, but Bounty Hunter falls into that same category. So, I mean, the Bounty Hunter was a really good pick right here. And Admiral Bulldog is one of the best Bounty Hunters in the world.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, Pyrian.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Lich did okay, some decent bounces. I thought S4's Batrider was legit as heck. And,
Yeah, really
I
was.
think that the Admiral Bulldog's Bounty Hunter, look at that, 16 of the 30 kills he was involved in. So like you're saying, when it comes to track gold, we're looking at the net worth at the end there. Lifestealer is light years higher than anybody else. And it's just that made such a huge difference. But like you said, the team fights, I thought, Virtus.pro were really good. But then it just suddenly got away from them because of that money that suddenly that gave the Alliance to push over the edge.
It's like Andy said, it's the laning phase for me, G gets shut down. That was what happened in the laning phase. Even though S4, you saw him do the circles, which
really
was perfect.
good.
He died, but he got the kill, so it's always worth it. Okay, that is worth it. If you get first blood and then you die afterwards, you get the XP, it's okay. On the, I will say as well, the Clockwork, Krill, played fantastically on his Clockwork throughout the majority of the game. He did really well in his lane as well. It's quite hard to go up against Admiral Bulldog. He had Orb of Venom and he had decent farm. And at the start of the game, you're like, okay, if the tri-lane wins for Alliance, the game is over. just because that tri-lane will be destroyed. But VP put up such a good fight. They got some nice kills, and their supports did generally, I would say, a better job in the tri-lane of making something happen. But the biggest problem was, even though that was VP's, I wouldn't say saving grace, it was still good. 10 to 15 minutes into the game, 1 tower down, a bounty hunter with equal trade. VP fought great, Alliance fought great, but the fact is they weren't getting the towers, they weren't getting the farm they wanted, and Alliance were just slowly getting a little bit ahead each time. And I noticed some stuff going into the end that was, I felt, quite relevant. The Clockwork went for a 4-staff. I agree, a 4-staff versus a Lifestealer, you want it. Yeah. And also a Bat Rider. You want to like try and save people, you want to get movement. It's all about positioning. But the biggest problem with that was the Rubik, I think it was Artar, or I'm not sure who.
Yeah, Rubik was Artar.
And also the Visage, no mech. Because G got shut down so much, a lot of the times on Viper, you'll want to go mech into Aghanims, because that makes you tanky. You are Mr. Teamfight if you're mech and Aghanims. He had to rush an Aghs to be able to actually contribute to the fight. I felt like he should have gone for mech. So VP missed a big team fight item. And this is me going off my rant, because this is going to the end of the show, and I just love being on camera, apparently. And one of the last things I noticed, Light of Heaven, again, he didn't play bad, but did you see his eclipses? You noticed one of them, but the other one that I think you might have missed out on, the fight where in the first river fight, where Admiral Bulldog was dusted up, he actually came in and used Eclipse. No one had like BKBs available, they were all pretty low, but he dragged a creep wave.
Yeah.
So the Eclipse hit the creep wave.
He was in the high ground, right?
Yeah,
when he used it?
he was coming down from the high ground, and the Eclipse was like, oh dear, it's gone. And that could have got them 2 kills and taken that team fight. And then, of course, the second one as well. Popped his BKB before Aegis. Never a good idea. But
I don't think that would have mattered.
Stop bashing a Light of Heaven, man.
Hey,
Give the
I'm
guy a break.
Well, sorry, man. It's a part of the storyline. But S4, his decision-making, as soon as he saw the cogs, he was like, I have BKB and I can go over. But nope, I'm going to take this hero, turn the cogs into our advantage.
Yeah. Yes. It was a great move.
It was an amazing move by S4, and it kind of solidified the game, just that one move. But VP actually surprised me with how well they fought. I thought the stand-in Krill, you did amazing. Like, Krill was really good for that team. But I also think Solo's a great player as well, so I don't know what the difference is. We'll have to see as we go in, but at least Alliance take a game in the first day. So there you go, that's my rant. I'm going to breathe.
Keep the locals happy. Yep.
Nice. Nicely done. I agree with the mech, by the way. And the weird thing is this. When you make an Aghanims, the build-up is actually harder than just making a mech.
Yeah.
Because you can get like a buckler, which is really good during early game, and headdress, which gives you a little bit of lane sustain. And if you have a mech and you don't die in a lasso, it actually gives you a really long time for your team to react. Like TPs,
exactly.
You can come in, fight supports, Arsart comes in, maybe he gets a telekinesis, maybe you live.
Because when he had the Ogre Club, I was like, wow, that's 1,000 gold. Is he really doing BKB? No, he's not going to do BKB. That's not going to help out. And then he picked up, and it's like, well, okay, a mech would have just been amazing. So no mech on him. And I think the mech pickup by Alliance was on maybe the Lich.
Probably.
Okay.
Yes.
Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
either way, they had it like pretty early on, like a close to the 20-minute mark.
You know what I think? Knowing God, G, he's one of those players.
You know God?
I talked to him.
When did you find him?
Well, I was in bed and praying, and he came to me. But the thing is that when talking about, you just sidetracked me. God is one of these. He's one of these greedy players. One of these very. I want to do it all. I want to win for my team, and I feel that going mech for him is kind of like a personal no. It's like, I don't want to go an item that helps my team. I want to go for an item that helps me, or helps me being the star. And that's a good thing about God, and the bad thing about God.
Do you think he does that? Because in all fairness, if you're a solo player that's like, if I do well, the team's going to win because I'm awesome.
But that's the thing.
Like, I can understand maybe the mentality about that. Like an Aghanims will make you kill stuff, get the kills.
Exactly.
You'll be like, I am an anchor. And I can understand that, but do you think he feels that way in this team in VP? I mean, you know God, right? He's a tiger, you know that.
Yeah,
right?
he's that guy. But the thing is, I think he does that. He did that in LGD Int. LGD Int. They started pretty well. I think the first, I never remember if it's G League or G1 League.
G1 League, isn't it?
That were second and finalists against IG. They were doing very well. It's one of those leagues. I'm really bad at names.
definitely wasn't the Dream League we remember.
No, definitely not. But I mean, they were there and they were doing really well until the end, and then LGDN kind of fell off. But even when LGDN fell off, if you look at G's scores, he was always with a positive KD ratio. He was always the guy that when the team loses, I still get something, I still get the kills.
It's good of you to take attention away from Light of Heaven.
I know, I'm trying.
He's trying really hard, too.
Hey, all I'm saying, right? No, Light of Heaven actually played like pretty fine today. There was a small couple of moments, but they do make a big difference when you're up against a team like Alliance and there's a bounty and you have to make the team fights work. They got one good team fight top lane that went their way when the smoke came in, and that was fantastic. Also, okay, EGM, he played way, in my opinion, too aggressive on the Lina. Like, you don't run in first as a Lina.
Head first a couple of
Hitting
times.
that stun, like, you, as a Lina, you're like, okay, I'm going to be somewhat positioned around the middle. And EGM, you know, he's so good that I'm sure he's like, it's fine.
The guy bought like 5 Midases in one game. I don't really think. Like, the thing is this: if he leads the fight and he gets hit by the clockwork, for instance, right, and the clockwork uses cogs or something like that, he will die. But he gets his spells off most of the time anyway. And if the spells are off, damage is done, then Loda doesn't have to worry about getting hookshot, doesn't have to worry about getting cogged, and go on whoever he wants. In that sense, it's kind of okay.
Tactical feed again.
But when
technical
he plays heroes that are like a little bit more tanky, like the Naga Siren and other stuff, he's so good when he can play aggressive on the supports. Naga Siren starts with like 6 armor and a decent move speed. That's huge. Like Lina, it's like, you know, you've got some, you know, padding, but it's not going to help
That's
you.
no armor.
Exactly. Well,
That's
questionable, but we'll discuss that after the broadcast. But either way, you know, I'm just saying it's not going to always work out great. So to wrap up today, we did have Na'Vi take their first game over Team Liquid, so congratulations to them. Fnatic have started off really strong. They took down one of the favorites in the best of one so far, so they're going to be super happy with their start here. And Alliance then took out VP, but I think VP can be somewhat happy with their performance, and definitely they could be a contender for the top 4. A lot of people were like, they will be in the bottom 3, but get top 4, you're going to DreamHack Winter. So to talk about what we're going to be doing tomorrow we're going to be kicking off with Alliance versus Na'Vi.
Wow, that is a match.
Yep, that is going to be the kickoff match. And then we're actually going to have more Na'Vi, I believe. It's going to be like a double header because EG missed their flight, so they can't play tomorrow.
Yikes.
And it's going to be Fnatic versus Na'Vi, both the best of ones tomorrow. So if Fnatic can take a game or even 2 games off Na'Vi, they've technically done what they are supposed to against Alliance by taking just a game right now and a game off Na'Vi. They've already set themselves up to be one of the top finishers. I would say, well, they've come out of the starting blocks sprinting.
Yeah.
Not limping, let's just say it that way.
When we began this show, we were talking about the favorites, and we pointed out that Fnatic is one of these teams that has the potential to surprise. And I think they did. I think they did it today, and they have the possibility to do it tomorrow.
I don't know if it's fair to call it a surprise. Just because the players are ridiculously skilled. And they all came from Han, which is a great game. Totally check it out. It's awesome.
Has like
all right, I'm not going to continue that route anymore. But
he just realized what he said.
I'm not going to do that again. Anyway, but no, I mean, all the players are ridiculously skilled.
Sean the Unbeliever.
They've been together for a really long time, right? Like the entirety of Fnatic have been together since their Han days. So you have like
and they're only like all 15 years old, so they started early.
Well,
Additions.
It's always fantastic. Like brainwashed by Fnatic, like must play Dota, kill creeps.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. They are they're really not a surprise, but at the same time you kind of like you give them the
and they consider
do
themselves
well, but they don't get to the end.
They consider themselves up there. Like when I talk to them, whenever you talk to Era or No Tail or even Hani, like all of them will say the same thing. It's like, oh man, you know, we finished top 8, but we could have done better. You know, we're better than this. And they always believe that they can beat any team on the planet, which is a very good mentality to have, especially when you're going up against teams like Alliance, Na'Vi. You want that.
All right, well, that's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be Alliance versus Na'Vi, Fnatic versus Na'Vi twice. It's all about Na'Vi tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. I'm going to say thank you to you guys, Pyrian and Andy, for bringing us all the games, also joined by Bruno. Bruno, thank you for all your hard work on the little overlay thing. We got a lot of feedback on Reddit. Everything that they don't like is what I did, basically.
No.
It's the graphics, it's the design.
No, let's be honest. I wouldn't have been able to make it if it wasn't for this guy actually staying awake all night.
Yeah.
Wait.
He did it. He worked on it for 2 weeks. I came in the last day.
I did the logo swaps.
You did logo swaps.
Yeah.
Who broke it?
We don't know. I don't think.
God.
I don't think anyone knows.
God broke it.
Why?
We needed a mech to fix it, and it wasn't there. Okay, yeah, so thank you, obviously, to you guys and all the hard work. Also, we got some great feedback from you guys at home on Reddit, so thank you so much for checking out that. Also, if you want to check out the matches for tomorrow, it's at dota2.dreamhack.se. If you want to check out the VODs, you can actually go to tv6play.se.
Yeah.
That's where the VODs are going to be. And TV6, a big TV channel, and the media house behind them is helping with the studio. This is the DreamHack TV6 studio, so the VODs there will be up hopefully shortly, so you can watch all the games. And when we come back tomorrow, we've mentioned the games that will be played, but a last thank you, I guess, because this is the thank you show now, is ASUS ROG, also Rocker, and everybody involved in the production. And we hope to see you tomorrow for some amazing games. Goodbye. We'd all the cheesy wave now.
Bye.
Let's go to the pub.
Bye to that.
This camera.
Extend your command precision with an 8200 DPI Pro Aim R3 laser sensor. Extend your command capability with exclusive Easy Shift button duplication.